What is the ideal retirement age? Asked the New York Times. Just more gibberish from our esteemed academia. Folks, academia is such a scam. I just talked to a guy today. Let's just put it this way. He was familiar with a controller of a pretty large Northeastern university that was paying $4 for every $1 you put into your 403B plan. The professors at this prestigious, very expensive university, a lot of them did not contribute anything to their 403B plan because they didn't have the money. He's like, those professors are idiots. I said, yeah, and they're making bank off the tuition. People think they're getting good quality education, but yet if they don't recognize putting $1 in and getting $4 back is a win. If you can't afford that, then you really shouldn't be teaching kids. Anyway, so here's from the New York Times. This is Dayline a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember. I've had it in my thing for a long time now. Oh, man, April. Jeez. What is the ideal retirement age for your health? Oh, this is so stupid. Average life expectancy has risen by 16 years since the national retirement age was set at 65. We asked health experts when they think people should stop working now. All right, so what's the problem with that average life expectancy? It's average life expectancy at birth. Oh, are people this freaking stupid? Average life expectancy at birth is different than average life expectancy at 40 or average life expectancy at 65. Do you not know the story of Enoch Semmelweis? Why did we have child mortalities? Because they were polluting babies with, they're delivering a baby with their bare hands, and they're going to another woman delivering the baby with their bare hands without washing their hands, going over here and over and here and here. And people were doing it all the time because the doctors, the science of the day said, no, we don't need to wash our hands. Now, what are we talking about? Ugh. So when they stopped doing that, child mortality immediately went way down. So life expectancy went way up. But if you survived child infancy, your life expectancy wasn't that much lower than what it is today. We're dealing with not the New York Times, just not the brightest bulbs here. Who is this chick? Dana Smith. Let's see what Dana's about here. Dana. What's that song by Dana Dane? Let me find that song. Dana Dane. Cinderfella Dana Dane. Remember Cinderfella? I lived in my house with my mean stepdad. Because he did an English accent. Pretty funny. Yeah, that was when rap hip-hop was good. What it is now, not good. All right, let's see what's up with little Dana Dane Smith here. What's this lady about? Reporter for the Well section of the New York Times. She's written about everything from the psychedelic therapy to the exercise trends to COVID-19. Okay. All right. There we go. So there's Dana Dane Smith. All right. So we talked about what happened in Germany where they proposed a national retirement age of 65, even though he said it at 70, I suppose, even though average life expectancy back then was 40 years. Let's see. It became the model for us. FDR modeled that on 65, even though less than 60% of American adults lived that long. Well, yeah, probably because your stupid wars, first and foremost. Let's not go to war, and American adults will live longer. So again, but at least she's recognizing that less than 60% of American adults live that long. All right, well, that's still over half American adults. So you take away your wars, right, and then you have cleanliness, you have clean water supply, and then all of a sudden hygiene, and people start living longer. Shocking. I got a mosquito bug. I tell you, they love me, these guys. All right. The national retirement age in the U.S. has origins in a bit of political smoke and mirrors. Okay. Right now, though, many more people live long enough to have access to a national retirement fund. The average life expectancy in the United States is 76. Again, that's average life expectancy at birth, which has gone down from 78. In European countries, it's higher still because they don't take all the GMO stuff that we do. From an economic standpoint, later retirement age perhaps benefits everyone's bottom line. Putting finances aside, though, what is the mental and physical implications of raising a national retirement age? All right. So we got Gal Wetstein, a senior researcher at the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College. Here we go. Gal found that Americans who are healthy at age 50 can expect to have 23 more years. Did I get you? 23 more years free of disability, plus about 8 living with disability. You notice how they don't describe what living with a disability is? What are you doing, Pablo? You gonna jump in the pool? Oh, he's licking the pool water. That's salt water, baby. So 8 years of living with a disability. That would suggest that people's maximum working life expectancy on average is 73. So if you're 50 years old, Gal says you should work until you're 73. No. There's no doubt that life expectancy is longer. It's not that much longer. And also the ability to work has expanded. Well, that's true, 100%. Part of that is medical changes? No. Actually, medical changes are hurting us. That's a fact. The allopathic medicine is not that good. When it comes to acute care, it's fine. When it comes to treating your problem, it's not fine. We'll prescribe drugs to deal with the symptoms, but we won't get the root cause of what's ailing you. We all know that. All right, so in 2020, roughly 45% of the American labor force worked in a knowledge-based field, such as management, YouTube videos. In 1935, these professions were just 6% of the workforce. So that's still 55% of the American population is not working in these kind of workforces. All right, so there's a knowledge. They're not in a knowledge-based field. That means they're working in laborious confines. So you're going to have them retire at 73, their gal. Dr. Pincus Cohen, oh boy, agreed that from a health standpoint, a retirement age under 65 makes no sense for hey, butterfly, they're people in a knowledge base. Because the 65 is a 20th century number. For people in knowledge-based jobs, the retirement age in the 70s is reasonable, says Lisa Renzi Hammond from the University of Georgia. Ugh. I just listened to a guy, my man Carl Stack was quoting some clown from the University of Georgia Public Policy, just a clown. And I was just like, I can't believe my daughter goes there. I said, well, if this is they're going to be their people who run their economics department, I'm going to probably tell her not to study economics at the University of Georgia because I was like, just literally stupid, dumb. Our cognitive faculties were able to maintain usually pretty well into our 70s. If retirement age is set based on the capabilities of employees, there's absolutely no reason to have a retirement age in the 60s. It's easy for you to say when you're working at an institute for gerontology, all right? But they do talk about this, all right? So they say right here, let's see. National health and disability averages don't tell the whole story. Yep. While some people stay sharp and continue to work until their 80s, professors, other jobs are more physically demanding and take a toll on people's health. There are people who do manual labor where at age 65, they cannot do this very challenging work, says Dr. Cohen, 100%. For these type of works, retirement can actually improve health outcomes. What? What? Where you can actually improve our health outcomes by quitting our crappy old job? No way. No way. That's unbelievable. That's impossible. If you're leaving a job that's physically bad for you, where you're getting terrible sleep and you're constantly stressed out, then retirement is great for your health. That looks not me. It's a doctor. Look, he's got a PhD, so he's a doctor. He knows something more than you and I because we're just maroons. Lifespan and health span are also not consistent across race and gender. All right, so here's where it gets stupid. Gal Wetstein found that at age 50, black men have a working life expectancy of 17 years, while those bad white women that could continue working for another 24 years. So why would you ever compare men to women in this regard? Why would you compare black men to white women other than to be a racist fool? All right, this is stupid. What you do is you compare black men to black women, white men to white women. That's what you do. Why? Because men have more dangerous, more riskier jobs, more physically laborious jobs. That's a fact. So to compare white women to black men is creating racial stupidity for sure. You compare black men to black women, white women to white men. And that's what you do, because if you're going to do it based on racial composition, then you have to compare apples to apples. Black men do more laborious jobs, more so than even white men. I grant you that. But to say black men are 50, have only 17 years, and white women have 24, the reason is because men work harder, more dangerous, more physically demanding jobs. That's just a fact, Jack. And sadly, a lot of white women, my wife in particular, they don't even work but part-time. You know why? Because we actually have the money, because we have two-parent households. And where the Democrats went nuts and they destroyed the black family, it's like, nah, you don't need a man running around here. So what, 70% of black children born are illegitimate? They don't have a dad in their household? Because the government did that. The government did that. Now it's 33% or 35% of whites. It's getting less now, though. But still, so because we have a husband and a wife in the household, more white families can have the woman stay home from work. So to compare a black man who's in a laborious, physically challenging job to my wife right there, it's apples to oranges. It's stupid. Let's see. We know that black Americans particularly develop illnesses at earlier ages, live with more disabilities, and die younger. So not allowing them to who's them? Not allowing them to retire until they're older means they're just not going to benefit from Social Security as much. Who you talk about them there, Dr. Lisa Cooper? Who you talking about them? Huh? You saying you people like Ross Perot? This is also true for so basically what the Dr. Lisa Cooper is saying is, you know what we got to do? If you're black, you should take Social Security at 55. And if you're white, you should take it at 75. Just, for equity, reparations and stuff. So freaking stupid. But what if I'm white and I worked in a laborious job and you're black and you worked at Wall Street? No. You got to pay reparations. But what if I don't have any money? No. You're white, you got to pay reparations. But what if that black guy got an inheritance from his dad? No. He needs reparations from you. Okay. Look, I've for a little bit I was on the train that said reparations. It seemed like it could be a good thing. And then I recognized that the people advocating reparations, the one guy who kind of was kind of got me thinking about it, I recognized he just cared about politics. He didn't care about reparations. He just wanted the Democrats to win. I thought he was sincere. Said, I actually understand, the ADOS, the Americans are descendants of slaves, American descendants of slaves. But I said, at the end of the day, if it's just all political, or it's just Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, then it's fake. And I recognize that, okay, so this whole reparations movement is fake, by and large. Just based on that one guy? Well, based on how many blacks still voted for Sniffy Joe as opposed to Trump. And I recognize that, so okay, so the politics will never leave. No matter how much we pay, it'll never go away. And I thought for sure that there might be a chance to say, hey, let's clean the slate and start anew. But obviously, that'll never happen. Sad. All right, so let's keep going here. As a result, Dr. Cooper, raising the retirement age needs to be done with all these issues in mind, because it's not going to affect everyone the same. Yeah. So what are you going to do there? You're going to say, well, Josh, you're working in a white-collar job. I said, but I didn't work in a white-collar job for the first 15 years of my labor. So how do you square that circle? I've dug ditches. I've freaking pounded stuff. I've been on my back. I've moved land. So how do I then say I have to retire at 75 because I'm in a knowledge-based thing now? Whole thing's stupid. Anyway, the point being, the only thing that made sense in this whole argument was this guy right here, Dr. Cohen. If you're leaving a job that's physically bad for you, where you're getting terrible sleep and you're constantly stressed out, then retirement is great for your health. Remember that. All right, love your thoughts. Academia. All right, we'll see you.